everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to talk about world building. Okay, you are writing your story, it takes place in a world. Maybe that world is some place that is familiar to everybody. Maybe it's in exotic locations. Maybe it's on a different planet. Either way, you need to build up your world. So we're going to talk about that. Now, if you like these type of videos, please consider giving a thumbs up, give us a like, and give us a subscribe and a ding-a-ling of the notification bell. Now, when I am building my world, one, as you know, I like to draw. I will try and draw different parts of the realm in which my story takes place. I know what you're saying, but I'm not that great of an artist. You don't have to be. You can go onto the internet, and if you find clip art and pictures of locations that fit well with your story, then by all means use those. It would be nice if you gave those people a shout out for the ones that actually took the photos, though. It's nice. And it's giving credit. Credit is good. But what if you are doing some kind of exotic intergalactic location? Well, you can do other things. All of the locations in my stories can be broken down into 3 different categories, okay? There is the neighborhood, the city, and then the rest of the world, okay? Or country, or planet, depending on how you're working this. What I do is, for example, for Nibble Nibble, Hilda doesn't live in a neighborhood. She lives in a castle. Castles are huge. They have lots of property within the castle walls. Therefore, that would be the neighborhood. Now, I've never been to an actual European castle, but that's okay. I do have some ideas of what castles entail based on books I've read, movies I've watched, Googling it pretty much. But the most important part of the castle for my character is the kitchen. So I actually went and I did a lot of research. Again, go back to that video about research and fiction. And I went and looked at pictures of what medieval kitchens looked like, what Victorian kitchens look like, what Renaissance and like 1700s, 1800s, what all those types of kitchens looked like, so that I could get a sense of what Hilda's kitchen might look like. And since a lot of mine had to do with cooking, especially at the beginning where you had all the equipment that was available at the time that my story took place, I would watch cooking shows on YouTube like Townsends and English Heritage. I will leave links in the description below. So I was able to cherry pick bits of information and images, and I was able to come up with her kitchen. Now, kitchens without air conditioning, hot. They're going to be hot. Ovens, well, I already knew from the Hansel and Gretel story that the big ovens had to be wide enough that you could actually fit a person in, because you needed that much space to arrange all of the cooking things. So that was my first part, my neighborhood, so to say. The next would be the city, or the rest of the castle proper, the area around it in my case. So as I was writing the earlier part of my book, I went and just slowly circled out. I have a little bit of details about the kitchen gardens. I have a little bit of detail about a little bit of the farmland around the castle, so that they could get their local supplies in, and little villages around it. But then I branch out more. Hilda has to go to a seaport because soybeans were imported, and they weren't even imported until like the late 1700s, early 1800s. So I had to kind of figure how that was going to work. Again, research is important. And then the forest, I had to expand out even further. Now, the country itself, or the rest of the world, I had to take into account, again, time period where I was figuring the story was going to be. I had to take into account environmental factors there were, and technology factors there were involved. Again, research. Black Forest in Germany was my image. Other European forests I kind of took bits and pieces from, but I tried to keep it authentic to the flora and fauna of the Germanic region and work from there. So whether you're working with a small, realistic area, maybe you're doing a story about kids in a local neighborhood and they go to school, there's your world building right there. Your main character's house, your main character's neighborhood, main character's school, what is their world like. If you're doing something with high fantasy, you can get even more creative. High fantasy, you can wholly let your imagination go, and maybe you have forests that have gold and silver leaves. Why not? Maybe you have caves with dragons in them. That's part of the world building. Okay? Things that your characters have to encounter or could possibly encounter in their journey. If your story takes place in outer space, well, then your world's going to be doing a little bit of research in the science area, because you have to walk around out, do spacewalks with a helmet. I don't care what they tell you. But world building in that sense, it's like, where does the character need to go? You can start them off on the spaceship, and then if they are heading anywhere else, you can just start building out from there. So start small, work your way out, let your imagination have some fun, do some research where it is available. And if you've ever been to any of these places, like maybe you've gone to Europe, I haven't, use that knowledge there. I have never been to the Black Forest, but I've been in other forests in the United States. So I can kind of draw on that to help, build my world. It's like the coolness in the shade, the way a meadow would look, a glade in the middle of the woods where Hilda could have her house. Walking down a road, I know how gravel road feels. I know how a dirt road feels. I can use what I know just based on that to build into my world that's in a place that I have not been in. Take where you're at and what you know. Take the things that you can research if you're able to. Start small and build out. If you can do those things, you can build whatever world you need to fit your story. I hope this was helpful. Again, there will be links in the description below, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.